The Clash of Titans, Komodo Dragon vs. Alligator, Chapter 1, The Arena of Death. The sun blazed over the Indonesian island of Komodo, its golden rays dancing on the rippling surface of a murky lagoon. The air hung thick with humidity, and the silence of the jungle was broken only by the occasional call of a distant bird. It was here, in this primal world untouched by time, that two of Earth's most fearsome reptiles would meet in an unintended, yet fated battle. On one end of the lagoon, emerging from the dense underbrush, a Komodo dragon, a living relic of the prehistoric era, sauntered forward. This was no ordinary lizard. Stretching nearly 10 feet long and weighing over 150 pounds, it was an apex predator in its own right. Its forked tongue flicked in and out, sampling the air for the scent of prey or perhaps a challenger. Across the water, the silence was broken by a sudden splash. A massive American alligator slid into the lagoon, its thick, armored body cutting through the water with deceptive grace. This beast, at 13 feet long and weighing close to 800 pounds, was built for ambush, its bone-crushing jaws capable of exerting over 2,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. Neither reptile knew the other, but instinct dictated their next moves. In a world where only the strong survive, an encounter between two top-tier predators could only end one way: violent confrontation. Chapter 2. Sizing up the enemy. The Komodo dragon's keen senses detected the reptilian behemoth in the water. Its yellow forked tongue flicked the air, registering the musk of its competitor. The dragon, despite its terrestrial nature, was no stranger to water. It had hunted deer, water buffalo, and even cannibalized its own kind in similar environments. But never had it faced an adversary so large, so powerful. The alligator, partially submerged, kept its cold, calculating eyes on the lumbering monitor. It had hunted countless creatures that had dared approach its domain. Turtles, birds, deer, even careless humans, it had crushed them all. But this scaly intruder was different. It was neither panicked nor unaware. It was, in its own way, a predator just as seasoned in the art of killing. The Komodo dragon took a step forward, its muscular limbs carrying it into the shallows. The alligator remained still, conserving energy, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Chapter 3. The First Strike. The stillness shattered in an instant. With the speed of a coiled spring, the alligator surged forward, water exploding around it. Its jaws snapped toward the Komodo dragon's front leg, aiming to drag it into the depths. But the dragon was no fool. With surprising agility, it pivoted, its powerful tail whipping the air, smashing into the alligator's snout. The reptilian titan recoiled slightly, stunned but unfazed. The dragon took its opportunity to lunge, sinking its serrated teeth into the gator's thick hide. The alligator thrashed violently, twisting its body in an attempt to dislodge its attacker. It rolled into the infamous death roll, dragging the Komodo dragon into deeper waters. The dragon clung on, its dagger-like claws digging deep, but its breathless struggle against the pull of the lagoon's depths put it at a disadvantage. Chapter 4. A war of attrition. The Komodo dragon, though a skilled hunter, was not built for aquatic combat. Its lungs burned as it struggled for air, its mind racing for an escape. The alligator, however, was in its element. With a powerful thrust of its tail, it drove the dragon deeper. But then the dragon did something unexpected. It released its grip and twisted violently, using its powerful limbs to propel itself towards the surface. Bursting out of the water, it clawed its way onto the muddy bank, panting heavily. It had survived the alligator's most lethal maneuver. Now the fight had to be brought to land. The alligator, realizing its opponent had escaped, let out a deep, guttural hiss. It lumbered forward, climbing onto the shore, ready to finish what it had started. Chapter 5. The Final Gambit. On land, the fight was different. The Komodo dragon, no longer bogged down by the water, regained its speed and agility. It circled the alligator, its tongue flicking rapidly. It had one more advantage: its venom. Though the alligator's thick hide made it difficult to pierce deeply, the Komodo dragon knew that even a glancing bite could spell doom. Its venom would thin the blood, lower blood pressure, and send its victim into shock. The alligator lunged, but the dragon was quicker. It dodged to the side and clamped its jaws onto the soft flesh near the gator's leg. Blood trickled down as the venom seeped in. The alligator roared, whipping its tail in frustration, but the damage had begun. Seconds turned to minutes. The alligator, still a formidable force, started to slow. Its reflexes dulled, its strikes became sluggish. The venom was taking its toll. With one final burst of energy, the Komodo dragon leapt onto the gator's back, clawing and tearing. The alligator, weakened and fading, attempted one last thrash but failed. Chapter 6. The Victor Stands. The battle had been grueling, but the victor was clear. The alligator's body lay motionless, the venom having done its work. The Komodo Dragon, battered and bloodied, stood over its fallen opponent victorious. The jungle grew quiet once more. The lagoon's surface rippled as if acknowledging the battle that had just transpired. The Komodo Dragon, the last survivor of ancient titans, flicked its tongue, tasting the scent of triumph. The world had lost a giant, but in the harsh domain of nature, only one rule remains unbroken. The strongest shall reign.